So yesterday, I got this in the mail. It's too big, it doesn't even fit in the camera. Archon Studios was really nice, and they sent me the 2-player starter set of the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. There we go. Now this is a massive box with both the Zerg as well as the Terran minis in it. No Protoss, but you know, do we even need those guys? Yeah, you know what? I'll probably end up getting those. Maybe they'll send them to me at some point. I don't know. Anyways, big shout out to Archon for sending those over for free. I figured, since I am a bit of a Warhammer nerd, in case you're unfamiliar, I do paint Warhammer minis. I could show you some examples, I suppose. But I figured since I'm a bit of a Warhammer nerd, and this is obviously StarCraft, and I have made a few StarCraft videos before, maybe there'd be people interested in me doing some StarCraft miniature painting? I'm not entirely sure. Let me show you some examples. This right over here is my baby, okay? This is the mini that I am most proud of. This is from Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And this particular mini took me many hours. At least 3. Let's say it's at least 3 hours. No, I think it's more like 50, 70? I don't know. It's been a little while. I have another example over here too. This one is a little bit of a quicker paint job, but still took me quite some time. Very pleased with how this turned out. This is kind of like a Goliath, I guess, but then in the Warhammer universe. And I've got quite a bunch of them. I really enjoy miniature painting, although I will admit, I've recently kind of fallen off the boat a little bit. I haven't been painting as much. I figured with a newborn at some point we would have a lot of time to start painting miniatures again. But turns out Bella doesn't really care very much about my personal time. I know. But this may actually be the solution, because now we can do both of the things and I can call it work. Yeah, right, excellent. So now I've had a lot of people ask, like, how do you even build miniatures in the first place? Because I can imagine there's a lot of folks getting into the tabletop miniature thingamajig right now for the very first time. And maybe you have never built anything before. So maybe I can like kind of do this as like a tutorial type of thing as well. I mean, maybe more of like a follow along and try to paint by numbers type of thing. I am by no means an expert. Like, there's people on the internet that are far better at it than me. But maybe it's entertaining. Maybe it'll be fun. I don't know. This is new to me too. Thank you, by the way, for the subs. All its glory, and then Ilensky for the 31. I'm gonna try and keep an eye out on the chat too. But this is a bit of a different setup than what I've been streaming with in the past. Now, I really like the Zerg miniatures in particular. I think the Terran minis do look cool, but I really like the Zerg. And it turns out, in the box, you get all of these sprue. I would imagine the purple sprue is Zerg. Quality, by the way, is excellent. Like, this looks similar quality to the Games Workshop stuff. Absolutely zero problems as far as I can tell. I guess we'll see when, you know, we actually get to any sort of like potential mold lines or something along those lines. But I guess I can show you as well how to get rid of those, if that indeed turns out to be a thing. But yeah, this all looks really nice. There are a couple of these transparent bits added in the sprue as well. So this is like specifically if you want to go with one of the types of zerglings. So you can go with transparent wings and all that. I have never really worked with transparent material like that before, so that's gonna be... yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a challenge. This right over here, I think, is Kerrigan. Yeah. You can see Kerrigan's face. Right over there. Very cool. I like the bases, actually. The bases look really nice and textured. I think there's something else going on this base too, man. We have like 2 bases. There's one over here, this one, and then there's this one too.
Road to 10 years. Very cool models.
Hey, thank you, Shonen. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I've been very hyped for this for a while. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I think these are the roaches or something. They look like roaches anyway. Now, I think where we start is with some, let me try and organize this so not everything gets mixed and matched all too much. I think where we start is by building some zerglings. Are these zergling bodies? Maybe. Could be. There's also this giant stack over here. Yeah, and then inside of the box, there's also the blue sprue, which is the Terran. And then, obviously, we also have some terrain bits and all the rest of it. So there's a lot of stuff included. Yeah. All right. So, in order to build all of this, we have to follow instructions. So there's this booklet that comes with it. And it will show you the entire overview of all of the sprue. It will also show you over here the size of the different bases that you need. So for example, some of the bigger miniatures will come onto this one and you can test what size this is. So this is an 80mm base. But I would imagine the zerglings are probably gonna go on top of the 32mm base, if I were to make a guess. Yeah, and there are some assembly options as well. So there's a thingy that says over here, optional step. And then we also have assembly options, which is always nice to see. So assembly options basically means that you get to choose between a couple of different bits on the sprue. So you can build up a pretty unique army if you want to. Do not glue, important step, diameter, rotate. I don't know. So I was looking through this. And I think I'm going to skip the Terran for now, although if there's enough interest, I most definitely am down to go ahead and paint those too. Not a bad idea. But I think we start with this page right over here. So, Zergling Zergling A. We have Zergling A, Zergling B, Zergling C, Zergling D, Zergling E, Zergling F. Yeah. So they're all on a separate page. And it seems like right from the get-go, you get a little bit of a choice. So step 3 over here gives you, I think, an optional step. Or at least you can make a choice. Yeah, right over here, for example, like this is the first step right over here. You can choose, do you want to go with the swarmling or do you want to go with the regular zergling? So swarmlings are obviously one of the heart of the swarm build options. And then you can also choose over here, I think, yeah, whether or not you want to go with the raptor zerglings. So those are, I think, the wings on the transparent ones. So those wings at the very least look very similar to me as the ones right over here. Yeah, so you get to choose. Do you want to make a regular zergling, a raptorling, or a swarmling? I think I'm going to be boring, and I'm just going to do a regular zergling. I am a sucker for regular zerglings. People with the raptorling skin are more likely to cheese you, man. It's true in StarCraft 2's multiplayer. I wonder if it's going to be true as well on the tabletop. Who knows? All right, now we get to play a little bit of hide and seek. I have to go ahead and find A7 and A1. Or actually, no, I got to find A1 and A2. And then glue those together. So, I'm thinking it's probably these things right over here. They're on like a separate little set. This one says G, F, E, A. Okay, we need to look for A. F, 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 E, F. Unlucky. I hoped I was gonna get lucky right from the get-go. It says on the sprue what type of setup you want to have. Yeah, F's in the chat. C. Oh, here's A. Look, I found A1. Yeah, so playing hide and seek is a big part of building miniatures. So obviously there's a couple of different steps to this. I want to paint them to a high level, okay? I don't want to make ugly miniatures. If you care about painting, I will try to show you how to do it, I guess. But I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people will just simply build these things together and play the game. I have not nearly as much interest in playing the game as I have interest in actually painting, although maybe I'll give the game itself a try too. I like the art form of painting, I suppose, and therefore I'm gonna try and build these up very cleanly too. So I've got a couple of different things. I've got some clippers. Ta-da! Ta-da! Very beautiful. I've got a giant makeup brush that I stole from Loran. No, that's not true. But these are kind of nice for dusting pieces off before you prime them, because it's the absolute worst. And again, I know a lot of people don't care, but when you like prime the miniature before you paint it, it's the absolute worst if you realize that there's a little bit of dust that you have now gooped the miniature up with that you don't realize is there until after you begin painting. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I also need a knife. The odds of me cutting myself on stream today by accident are bigger than ever before. I may have already hurt myself the other day, but this is from cleaning, so it's actually not that bad anymore, but I figured I'll put a bandage on it just because some people get roasted out very easily. I also have Laurent's eyebrow tweezers. Very important to get your girlfriend's or your wife's eyebrow tweezers. Make sure to grab those. Those can come in handy. And I also have what I have found to be the very best plastic glue you can find. This is called Tamiya Extra Thin. If you can't find it, any other will do as well, but this stuff is kind of awesome. Just make sure to not sniff the glue too much. Unless that's something you're into, I guess, but you probably shouldn't. Danger, extremely flammable, vapor, harmful. Yeah. This smells like my childhood. I'm not even kidding. It does. I don't remember, man. Like, I've been asking my mom, what miniatures did I build as a kid? And she doesn't really remember. My sisters don't really recall. Yeah, there's a lot of different plastic cement brands out there. Also, I have got a little bit of sanding paper. I bought like a big stack on Amazon many years ago. So this is like 1200 grit and then 3000 grit. We may end up using one or the other, I don't know yet. And then I also have a couple of like these little thingies laying around, which can also be used for sanding. You don't really need all of this, but I figured I'll just grab it all so I don't have to get up and, you know, do it again at a later time. All right, I think it's time for Zergling 1. So A1 is right over here. So what we want to do is make sure we... So it's a little bit of a tricky thing, right? You have a couple options. Either you like try to cut it as close to the miniature as you can. So these are very sharp, by the way. Like, there is a difference between the absolute cheapest plastic screw cutters that you can find and then ones that are a little bit more expensive. These are ridiculously sharp, so you get very clean cuts, which is nice. So that piece right over there is A1. And then the second piece we need is A2. I'm assuming they're gonna be close to each other. Yeah, A2 is right over here. There we go. There's A2. And then for the next step, we need A3. I like cutting them all in one go because it's a bit quicker. A3. There we go. I'm gonna not apply the Raptor links. So we're gonna go A4, A5, A6. That seems to be at the very least what the mini wants. So A4, A5, A6. And then we glue it down on a little 32mm base. What a great concept, man. So we have step 1 right over here, step 2 right over there. And then we need A4, A5. This is A5 right over here. This does, you know what this does mean? You have to keep in mind that you have now already clipped out A5, meaning that you can't just chronologically go anymore. You're gonna have to go A5 minus A1, and then we come back to 4. I know, this is higher advanced math. Luckily, I've already found 5 and 4, so we can just clip those both. Ooh, close call. There we go. And then we also need A6, which is right over here. So one very common thing that you have in miniatures, and what I will be looking for here, is these things called sprue lines, or mold lines, and then also giant gaps in the miniature. Now, when I first got started, I built some miniatures before I really knew how to like handle it. These are like older Games Workshop minis, and it's a great example of what I'm trying to explain, I guess. If you look at the thigh over here of this lovely guy, this is called the Glotkin, probably the biggest miniature out there. But this guy has a lot of holes in his stomach. You see the line over there where the different pieces glue together. And it's the same over here on the leg. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I really like how this miniature turned out, but every time I look at it, I just see the freaking gaps in the flesh. Yeah. And it bothers me greatly. So if we encounter any of these, there are ways to fix it, but it's a little bit more tedious. It's a bit more of a process. Generally speaking, a lot of it does come down. Look, this is a mini I painted a little bit later. This one had one as well over here on the shin. This one is barely visible, but you can still kind of see it a little bit, especially over here. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating. It's not as annoying on this one though, I will say. But it's just one of those things where it a lot of the time comes down to like the way that they have decided to put these things onto a sprue. So like a lot of the process, right, is like somebody modeling the miniature. So somebody like built these in a 3D modeling type of program. And then it's up to I guess an engineer to figure out how to now get this 3D object onto a sprue that can then be like plastic molded and mass produced and efficiently laid out, and it's complex. So you gotta try and hide those lines. And I've noticed on like the newer Games Workshop stuff, like the releases over the last few years, it's very like they've done a really good job hiding those lines. Like they're not nearly as visible. So they've just I guess the engineers do a better job, or maybe they have like some sort of automating. I don't really know. But yeah, it is a thing. It is a thing we need to be paying attention to. So, you do definitely always want to dry fit it. Should I maybe zoom in a little bit so you can see it a bit better? It's going to be a bit difficult for me to keep everything in the frame, because obviously I'm looking at my fingers. Yeah, you do definitely want to dry fit it. Make sure that everything is okay. I think there's a little bit of plastic somewhere stuck over here. Yeah, so we have to make sure that we tidy this up as much as we can. So using a knife, or I don't know, if you're a kid, you probably don't want to use a knife. But you can kind of scrape it off. Using the back of a knife can be really helpful too. You obviously don't want to gouge into the plastic itself. So that would just be a disaster. But these are really lovely though. I really like the detail. Looks great. Am I keeping it in the frame? Yeah, there's many ways to get rid of mold lines. Now, they don't seem to be much of an issue over here. You can see a tiny little bit of it right over here at the bottom of the mouth. This is well hidden, so this is where the injection, I guess, you can kind of try and scrape some of it off. It's just one of those parts that you may have to pay attention to. Now, I want things to be really tidy. If you just want to play the tabletop, you obviously don't have to worry about any of this. You can just put them together. Maybe, potentially, paint them if you want to, but that's about it. But I want things to look nice. And this is part of the hobby for me, okay? Alright, that part was looking okay for me. I'm not wearing headphones, by the way. Should I be wearing headphones? I don't know if I hear any of the notification sounds coming through. I will pay attention to them every once in a while. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, the Zerg are organic anyways, right? So on these kind of guys, it doesn't really, it doesn't matter so much if there's a little bit of a line on them. Because it will just look like, I don't know, a bit of damage maybe on the carapace. Which is fine. Yo, Echo Steel, thank you so much. Test successful? How long did it take before I noticed? Not very long, I don't think. Dude, it's been way too long. I was on a roll where I was doing mini painting nearly every day on stream, and we were doing a lot of really cool projects, but then I kind of fell off the boat, I guess. Some games released, and I figured we'll check those out, and then bada bing, bada boom. Suddenly, a half year goes by. Okay, this looks pretty good. Hey, thank you, Sella Seed, as well. Appreciate it. Yeah, so you can see a little bit of a line over there where these two parts meet on the carapace. But it fits way better, which is nice. And one thing you can do to try and like fix the problem of like this mold line showing up is like applying a little bit of glue and then squeezing the mini, which will... So basically what plastic cement does, you don't want to use super glue, okay? If you're gonna build minis, don't use super glue for stuff like this. Not for, like, there's a use case for super glue too, but not for stuff like this. Super glue is great, but this stuff is better, okay? The nice thing that this stuff does, differently from super glue, is that it kind of melts the plastic a bit. So if you apply a little bit of glue and then you squeeze it, some of it will kind of squeeze out and melt the plastic and then fuse it all into one piece. And it is just better. Just don't bother with, like, also working with fudging. Working with super glue is just ass. Like if you get it on your fingers, it's just a meme. Unless your fingers are made out of super glue. Or plastic glue, or plastic in general, I guess it could be a problem, but... Alright. So there are little divots where to apply the glue. So we want to apply a little bit over in every single one of those for sure. And there's a corresponding little pokey thingy on the other side. But I do think it's kind of nice as well to go around and get a little bit of plastic cement on every single one of these spots. So we can hopefully melt the plastic and then make it look nice. Okay, that'll do. We don't have to do both sides. And then you gotta just be accurate and squeeze. I'll get it in frame next time. Oh, snap, did I not have it in play? No, so plastic glue does not really stick to your fingers in the same way. Super glue is really annoying. Like if you get super glue stuck on your fingers, it's just annoying. I'm gonna apply a little bit more here at the very end. Try and see if I can maybe squeeze this tail to look a little tidier. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of squirts out a little bit. Yeah, plastic cement will melt your fingers if you are made out of plastic. So if you're Pinocchio, who's made out of wood, not a problem. If you are, however, a human being, it should be fine. It should be okay. All right, so this is gonna take a little bit to dry. We'll put it around the, right over there. And then we can move on to the next part, which is number 3. Snap, dude. I am now 2 for 3 with dropping my plastic parts on the ground. Really nice. Yeah, so it's it takes a little bit for the glue to dry. You can handle it again soon, but it's not gonna be fully set. So you give it a couple of minutes and prepare the next part. Or play hide and seek on the sprue. You can, by the time you finish preparing this part, you can glue the next one down. Kinda depends, right? If it's a huge part, maybe you should let it dry for a little bit longer. So you don't accidentally destroy it. Which can happen. Okay. So those are its lovely little teeth. This seems to be its bottom jaw. Look how cute. Yeah, the main rescue run, if you like have really large parts that you have to try and glue together onto one, and like previous sections aren't really dry yet, is that you put on too much pressure and then you like accidentally move one of the previous things, which is just kind of annoying. These minis aren't super big though, like these are pretty small in scale, so it should be fine. It will be indicated as well, by the way, on the piece of paper, if you're unsure, where to put the glue. So the little orangey indicator will be like, hey, that's where you need to put glue. So they've actually also like, yeah, they have put the same thing over here too. You don't need to go crazy with the amount of glue, to be honest. But it's, yeah, it's something to keep in mind. So look, they've done a good job hiding the line. This is what I'm talking about. You see the line at the bottom, or like, I guess the roof of the mouth, right in there? That is one of the lines that the engineer people have managed to hide, because this goes on top of it. And it will perfectly hide that injection, which is great. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna paint the inside of this mouth. You could if you wanted to. But I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna prime this entire miniature in black when it's done. And the inside of its mouth is gonna be dark. That is how we solve that problem. Okay, so we apply a little bit of glue over here. Yeah, worst case scenario is that it's going to be a little bit of purple inside of the mouth, which is, I think, totally fine. Oh, actually, we need to apply a little bit as well on the edge over here of the... There we go. Of its giant teeth. You do have to be a little bit cautious to make sure that you don't accidentally get plastic glue stuck on your fingers. At which point, like, you then touch another part of the miniature. Like, if I now were to have, like, say there's like glue on the tip of my middle finger, I will be smudging it on the body over here, and you can melt some of it down. I had a little bit of that happen over here at the tip of the tail. I don't think it's a problem. You can accidentally like leave your fingerprints behind onto the miniature. It can, like, it will happen naturally sometimes, but yeah, you get plastic melting powers for a little bit. You don't want to smudge it. Look how cute it is. Aww. There's a little bit of a gap over here. I'm just gonna try and make these tidy, so I'll try and squeeze a little bit more. No, I don't have an affiliate link or anything along those lines for this. I do believe we have a little bit of sponsored content coming up with Archon Studios, if everything goes according to plan. But this is not sponsored. They did just send me the box. But this is not something I'm getting paid for, I suppose. But yeah, that's fine, Echo, no worries. They were nice enough to send me the whole starter set, which is pretty great. Okay. So next up, we have A4 and A5. Well, The truth is that if they wouldn't have sent this, I would have bought it myself. So, haha, suckers, got him. No. But now they, I guess, get a little bit of promotion out of it too, right? Because there's still going to be a lot of people that are not familiar with this game. And, who knows what can happen down the line. I really like mini painting, man. Like, it's just, I've kind of missed this, genuinely. Like, it's so much fun. But I don't know, it's just one of those things, man. Everybody always says, when you get a baby, you suddenly realize you have so much free time. And suddenly there's so much room that opens up for you. But I have found the opposite to be true. Like, I feel like, right now, I have no time to do other things. They sent me, thank you very much, Andy, first off. They sent me the 2-player starter set, which is Zerg and Terran. That's what it says on the box. It's two-player starter set. No Protals. Ugh. Get those disgusting Protals out of here. So this comes with like a play mat and then some terrain pieces too. It's gonna be fun. This looks fine. Nice quality plastic though, like the little details here all look really sweet. We will have to come up with a painting scheme for this, by the way. Now, I've been thinking about it for a while already. Yeah, that is something that is worth considering. So be careful, obviously, with your fingers, right? Like, these knives are very sharp. You also don't want to put too much pressure on it, because you could accidentally snap off a little piece of plastic, which is not great. Now, if you do end up having accidentally something snap off, you have a couple options. Either you try and botch it together again with some glue, try to make the best of it, or you can call it battle damage. If you accidentally have one of the claws snip off, like this little section over here, like right above my nail, that's a very tiny piece. It'll be a lot more sturdy when it gets glued together, but right now it's relatively fragile. Basically, those things are inevitable though. Like, you're always gonna accidentally destroy something. Especially the first time around. It's gonna just be a bit of a process. It sucks because it happens and you spend a bunch of money on it. But yeah, here's what it is. Okay. I always try to pay attention, especially to the claws. Like the claws and whatnot on minis like this are usually where like little markers or little scuffs are most noticeable. I want it to be all clean, but especially the claws and stuff can be a bit annoying. All right, so we again try to dry fit it first. So there's little rectangles that are supposed to line up, I think. Maybe? Yeah. Aw, it's adorable. That fits. And then the same on the other side. It's beautiful, man. It's really, honestly, very cool. Wait, did the 24/7 stream shut down? Wait a second, Irrefutable. I have the computer set up right over here. What's going on with the 24/7 stream? Twitch.tv/MoreLoco, by the way. As well as Twitch.tv/... Wait, did the More Loco stream die on Twitch? Why did it die? Ah, I know why it died. It's back online now. So on YouTube, I have been live with the 24/7 stream for 11 days straight. But on Twitch, you have a 48-hour limit. So on Twitch, you can only be live for 48 hours and I have to manually reset it. Thank you for reminding me. It should be back live now. Whenever you see the Twitch stream go offline, please let me know. Because I sadly am a human. Yeah. Humans and their Stupid mistakes. I try to make a habit out of resetting it once a day, but I forgot. Alright, I think we'll do one little arm at a time. One little arm at a time is better. Yep. So these are pretty significant joints. I'm gonna squirt a little bit more glue in here. It's okay if it has a bit of... a little bit of it move out. This is the second time I've used the word squirt on stream. Sick. Okay. Pretty good. By the way, if you look at anybody on YouTube building miniatures, this is a trap I fell into, okay? I thought that you're supposed to build these minis in about 3 minutes time. Because that's everybody on YouTube. Like, they build these miniatures in like 3 minutes time. And it turns out, that's not very fun. No, just sticking glue onto things and trying to rush it as quickly as possible is not enjoyable for me. So I'm not doing it. Maybe I'm still building it fast relative to other people, but don't rush it. It's stupid. It doesn't make it any more fun. Zero advantage in trying to rush this. Unless you hate doing it. In which case, why are you doing it? You can paint a little bit as well with glue, which sounds a bit silly maybe, but you can hide some of the little mold lines that way, because it melts the plastic. Make it look a little bit better. Dude, it's pretty! Yeah, I really enjoy taking my time with stuff, in general. I feel like, I don't know, man, like my default mode, and this is not just with miniature painting, this is just with everything. But my default is to try and rush things for no apparent reason at all. Stupid. Okay, so we'll let this dry for a sec. Yeah, this starter pack does include Mommy. I mean, Kerrigan. Yeah. What nippers are those? These are by a brand called Stady. Again, I'm not affiliated with any of this. I got these off of Amazon for cheap. Apparently the absolute S tier plastic sprue cutters out there are from a Japanese brand called God Hand. Those are like €100. I guess if you're gonna, I mean, it's one of those things, right? Where like maybe if you need a really nice present for your birthday or something, that's probably gonna be one of those tools that will last you a lifetime. But yeah, I bought this one I think for like maybe €15. I've had it for a while. It's pretty good. I would buy it again. Maybe 20 actually. I don't remember. I will say, this is the danger of mini painting in general. There are a lot of 10, €20 upgrades that you can do. And the 10, €20 upgrades do add up over time. Like for example, you can paint with a shitty brush, which is a terrible experience. Or you can buy a nice brush for like 10 bucks. And I do think in that case it's worth it. But does one need, I don't know, an airbrush? Do you need an airbrush? Not really. Not really, but you know, it's kind of nice. Yeah, paint is also a bit of bait. So like, here's a bottle of miniature paint. One little paint bottle like this is usually like €3.50, something along those lines, which is just enough. It's just the right price that you think, okay, I'm gonna start this new project, so I will buy these 5 new paints. And it's just one of those things, man, where like, you can nibble up €10 here, €10 there, €20 here, €50 there. Yeah, I think as far as brushes go, it's worth it. So nice brushes are worth it, man. Sometimes I use cheap brushes for like base coating and whatnot, which is fine. But brushes I do think are worth spending a bit of money on. Okay, so this is supposed to go down on a 32mm base. So we gotta find the 32mm, which, spoiler alert, is the smallest one in the little baggie. Ta-da! These are nice, by the way. Huh. Blizzard Entertainment at the bottom. Cool. Yeah, if you're not sure if you got the 32mm one, there is a little thingy over here in the middle. Bam. So 32mm. Apparently there's only 3 sizes. Okay. 32, 50, and 80. These are pretty nice. You can kind of scent these a little bit too if you want to make them look a little better. Completely pointless, but I like it. You want a nice clean rim, you know? Because otherwise, when you ultimately paint the rim, you're gonna get little nubs in your rim job. And do you really want to have little doodads in your rim job? I don't think so. You gotta keep the rim clean. So there seems to be a tiny little bit of overhang on the rocks. Unless I am mistaken. Am I dumb? There's a tiny little bit of overhang. There's no way I can position this any differently though, can I? A tiniest bit of overhang. Which I don't like. Why is there overhang? 32mm. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that on stream. Oh. It's fine. It's actually fine. But also, there is a tiny bit of overhang. I could try and send it off a little bit. Shake it. The model of these, or the quality of the mini, of the plastic, is extremely good. This is same quality level as Games Workshop, which is kind of the gold standard. I do not notice, like, I don't know how obvious it is on stream, but I do not notice any problems. This is just the first Zergling I've built, but it's very smooth. This is 1200 grit, which is not very gritty. Ah, that's where its feet are. I was wondering. It's got little toes. The toes are built into the rock. Curious. How does that fit? Oh yeah. Like so. Yeah, it looks cool. Its toes are molded into the rock that it stands on. Oh. I don't know if you can see it. So if you want to do some weird kit bashing, don't forget about the toes. Am I crazy if I were to clip this off? Yeah, I'm gonna clip it off. I'm gonna use some old sprue cutters for that though. I'm gonna try and shorten it just a tad. There we go. This is unnecessary, but I did it anyways. I I think it will fit a little bit better onto the base now. Yeah. Cool. So once we prime it, it'll be okay. Okay. So it's probably easiest. It's probably easiest to glue this rock onto the base first, and then glue the zergling on top of it. This is going to require a little bit of glue, though. Sometimes for the base, it's actually easier to just use straight up super glue. But I'll try and not get it on my fingers. Easier said than done. Okay. Yeah, so now it fits onto the base perfectly. I clipped a little side piece off. It's somewhere in my room now. We'll have to figure out, by the way, how we're gonna make creep. Like it's clearly creep that it's standing on. But I need to fill in the empty space over there too, to make it look creepy. There are, by the way, little circles at the bottom if you want to put in a magnet, which is kind of nice. Yeah, okay. And then we gotta just put down the little zergling. Gotta stick him onto his own feet. Give him shoes. So again, we have a little bit of glue right over there on the toe area, squirt out, but that's fine. Because it will make the mold line look a little bit cleaner. Same over here. All right. All right. There's Zergling 1. Looks good. Looks really nice. Yeah. Lovely. All right, so we put this to the side to dry. And then we move on to number B. Number B? Sure, number B. And I'm gonna build just the regular Zerglings on everything. That's the plan. You can live over there in the corner. Okay, so we gotta find the next minis onto the sprue, or on the sprue. Have I decided on a color scheme? I think I have. I think I'm just gonna go boring and default, but I don't know. Maybe I'll reconsider. If anybody has any suggestions or really good reference images, I would be down for it. But I think I'm just gonna go the regular good old Zergling colors. AKA the ones that everybody's familiar with. This probably makes the most sense. Although it's maybe gonna be a little bit boring. Okay. We need to find B3, which is right over here. Man, it's labeled. This is crazy, but we can go from B1 to B2 to B3 to B4 to B5, and then B6 for the base. What a crazy idea. Okay. And then B6. Sweet. Look how tidy. We've taken the whole side of the sprue. What in the world? Let me also grab another one of these. Okay. So this is all we need for the mini. And it will mostly come together the same way as the previous one. Like it'll be identical. So again, we want to make sure that we clean up any obvious mold lines here. Nip off any of the little details that may be there. Or not the little details. Little, what do you call them? Little sprue cut thingamajigs. That's the inside of the mouth, so that's fine. Is good. Yeah, I'm not sure yet on the painting scheme. I think I'm just gonna go default, honestly. Zerglings are actually a little tricky. Like if you compare Zerglings to Tyranids, Tyranids have very distinct armor bits and then very distinct fleshy bits. But Zerglings kind of go from the brownish color to the purplish color very fluidly, it seems. Like their carapace kind of moves over into their fleshy bit and then the other way around again. It's not as distinctly a cutoff, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Should be, yeah, gotta think about that. Dude, I really like this overhead camera setup. It took me way too long to set up. I'm very pleased with the way that it looks. I'm hoping I'm not getting my hair in the frame too often. You could make them green, absolutely. If you want to do like Primal Zerg, it would even be lore accurate. You can do any color though. I think it's also like the Hunter Killers. You know the Hunter Killers from Brood War? The reddish color scheme? Also worth considering. What glue am I using? This is Tamiya Extra Thin, which is kind of the gold standard these days. But there's many other brands out there that you can use. They will all be pretty darn good. Look, let me show you a Tyranid. I'm trying to explain. Here's a big boy Tyranid, very easy to see. The Tyranids have like the hard carapace, right? And then they have the fleshy bits. So it's very clear where the body begins and where the carapace ends. But the Zerglings don't really seem to have that. They don't have it in StarCraft 2's multiplayer or whatever year. It's like pretty smooth. Yeah, they sent me a box in advance, Assyrian, which is really nice. I think this is called a content creator perk. It's a Norn Emissary, the mini I just showed. A Tyranid Norn Emissary. I gotta say, by the way, the Zergling is pretty big. Like, if the Ultra is supposed to be within line, like in the same scale, it's gonna be freaking huge, man. I hope so. I hope they don't scale down the Ultralisk. Like, it'll be probably like that big. Yeah, maybe they'll go with Brood War Ultralisks. They're a little smaller, I guess. Yeah, it probably makes more sense. But didn't they say they had plans for like years of minis? Somebody in the chat said that. And I would assume that guys in the chat never ever lie. Because lying on the internet is illegal, is what I've been told. Yeah, they shared like some sort of timeline. I don't recall though, it's been a while. Let me just say that the Zerglings though are bigger than I thought they'd be. Look at that cute little smile. Aww. Here it is. Wave 3, August 26, Wave 5, December 26? Okay. Yeah, but I think that was supposed to be even more than this. Siege Tank, Ravager, Immortal, Zeratul, Mutalisk, Infested, Stukov, Defiler, Zagara. Dude, the Hydras look really cool. Sadly, no Hydras available for us to paint yet. But, yeah. There is long term. I guess they haven't like communicated the entire plan, right? Because then people are gonna hold you to it. And we have seen that go wrong many times. The internet is not the most flexible place out there. Well, the internet itself is, but the people on it, not always. You had to make changes in your release schedule? I want the video game now, and I want it buggy. I want it to be not done properly, and then because I rushed you, I'm gonna complain about it as well at the same time, because it's not done. No, you don't want to be too clear about your release schedule on the internet, dude. It's a bad idea. Yeah, we're hatchery tech at the minute. Hatchery tech for now. We have Zerglings and we have roaches in this box. I'm excited for Hive Tech though, is what I'm saying. Oh yeah, there's also an Omega worm, I think, included with this box. And Kerrigan. I don't know what tier Kerrigan is. Who knows? How far do you think they'll go though with all of the releases, right? Like, will they do a Stetman release? Will we get a Donnie Vermillion official miniature? People need a Donnie Vermillion. Well, it says Ravager on the timeline. Yeah, it says Ravager and Immortal. But then it also says Defiler and Zagara, so I don't know. I guess we get a little bit of StarCraft 1 and a little bit of StarCraft 2. Works for me. This looks good. We need a bust. A bust of Donnie Vermillion. It's a really nice IP though, and I gotta say, when I first heard about this, like the fact that they were getting the license, you never really know exactly how serious a company is gonna take it, right? Like, yeah, you can get the license to produce miniatures, and they just kind of do this as like a side project or whatever, but it seems like this is like, they're really putting in the work, which is great to see. Yeah, they went all out, which is great. For this one, we also have a little shoulder indentation on the carapace. So you get the little rectangular, squarish indicators. And then we also have a little shoulder piece. Just a little glue in there. Yeah, the plastic is not going to break that easily. You can drop it. Just don't stand on it. Don't step on your zerglings, dude. Or do, if that's your thing. I don't know. Hold it. I find the most interesting choice that they've made the one where they are going with a very similar approach as Games Workshop would. Like, if you think about StarCraft, do you think about small-scale battles? Do you think about battles between like 50 units at tops? Not necessarily. Like, they could have gone epic scale very quickly, where you make hundreds of units, you know? Like, you do so many. But they decided to just kind of go straight at, kind of went straight for the same type of game mode that's really popular for Games Workshop, I guess, with the smaller scale games, which is nice. Like, this really is a proper competitor. Or what is it called? Heroic scale? I don't know. Okay. That smile. It all started with that damn smile. Oh, they'll definitely do an Ultra. There's no way you're not gonna do an Ultra. They'll probably do like Thor and Ultra and Colossus or something all in one big release. Like, that alone is, that's a full release worthy right there. This one has a little tongue as well. I don't know if you can see it inside of the mouth, but there's a tiny indication of a tongue. That'll be a bit tricky to paint. Oh. Is this one gonna fit properly on the sprue immediately? Yeah, this one fits. A lot of StarCraft units in general, though, would be very difficult to balance. Like, if you want to go with the lore-accurate approach, first of all, Terran would not do anything. Like, it's really nice that Blizzard has wedged humans into this conflict and all that, but let's be real. If Zerg and Protoss were real, right, if they actually existed, we'd be so dead, we had absolutely zero chance. Yeah, one carrier shows up, we're dead. There's nothing we can do about carriers. One Void Ray. What if there's oil on char? Good point. If there's oil on char, that's what the mech suits are for? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if humans would really do too well. But I'm glad to see you guys' positivity in this regard. Oh, this guy is a bit of a leaner. So I was already thinking about gluing this one straight in the middle of the base. But this guy leans forward a bit. The shoes don't fit. Oh no, I just gotta press it. If you have to squeeze yourself into your shoes, you probably want to get a size bigger, but... Yeah. So this guy's feet are also on the actual rock. I really like that they have sculpted little rock bits, though. To make the bases all a little bit more interesting. So for this one, I will glue them straight onto the base before we glue the rock onto the plate. Yeah. Yeah, so this one, different position, right? Which is cool. I like it.
Any plans to buy the Protoss set?
What's going on, Andy? Any plans to buy the Protoss set? Maybe I will. We have a lot of minis to paint as it is, though, but I'm definitely not uninterested in painting Protoss. But I like the Zerg the most, and we have a lot of Zerg minis to paint. It kind of depends on how in-depth you want to be with painting too, right? Like, you can very quickly paint minis, but you can also take your time. Like, you could spend 50 hours per Zerglings per Zergling if you really wanted to, which would bring the total painting time of this box up to about a lifetime, give or take. So that is Zergling number 2. Bella can help when she gets home from college. Oh no, Nolan, I'm not ready for that. She's so little. Yeah, we have 50 minerals worth of Zerglings done. No, but they're big though, right? Like, it's bigger than I expected it to be, which is funny because that's also what she said. Still kind of hurts. Like, what did she expect, you know? All right, there we go. 50 minerals worth of Zerglings in about an hour. I don't think that's too bad. Okay, you guys can hang out over here. We'll move on to Zergling number 3. Which I'm assuming is going to be C, which is going to be right over here too. I think. No. Yes. Dude, it's so clean. So we have one full sprue with A, B, C, and D. It's just one sprue. It's the whole thing. If you've ever tried building anything from Games Workshop, you know that that is not always the case. Sometimes you really have to play hide and seek with these guys, which is a bit annoying, but... So how many of you, I'm actually curious, how many of you have picked up this tabletop game, but have never painted minis or anything like it before? Like, for how many... At least judging by the Discord chat, I could see a bunch of people that were like, yeah, I'm gonna try and give this a shot for the very first time. Many? Oh, quite a few. Okay, cool. They don't ship to your country? Dang. How much does it cost to get all the material to paint them? Anywhere between 20 to like 2,000 bucks. I mean... yeah, how much does it take to start playing video games? I mean, it's like a similar question, right? There is definitely a little bit of an investment that you can make in better tools. Now, I have always, whenever I have a hobby or I have anything that I really like, I think it's smart to start with some cheap stuff and then move to some higher quality tools. Like, kind of dip your toe into a potential new hobby by not spending all too much money. And then if you like it, you know, buy better tools. At least that's always the vibe I'm going for. So you can get started for relatively cheap. A couple of paints. I'm wondering if they're gonna sell like maybe a partnership or something with some painting manufacturer and just sell like a whole starter set where you can just like buy one box and it will include all the paint and everything you need. I think that'd be smart. They should definitely do that. Yeah, NDHD is going, or NDTV rather, is going in deep, man. NDTV has basically gone straight to the deep end of the pool. He doesn't even know how to swim yet. But you know what? That may also be a build. Yeah, he's gone straight to the deep end of the spawning pool. You spent 200 buckies on stuff last night? What did you buy, Andy? Yeah, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to get started. But, I guess it can help. We don't talk about it? Okay, okay. Alright, fine. Yeah, better tools are generally more fun, I will say. But there's also definitely, I don't think there's any shame in buying some lower stuff or lower end quality for any hobby, right? Like not just this hobby, but literally anything. And if you really like it, invest in some better goodies. Like I've recently really gotten into running. And I had some running shoes and I used those up for a little while. And then I realized, you know what? Maybe I should get some good running shoes. And the running shoes that I bought are way better. But I wanted to make sure I was actually interested in running first before I, you know, spend a bit of cash. Yeah, if you start with cheap stuff, you do also kind of know where the cheap stuff is good enough. That's very true. I don't know, there is like a bit of this notion on the internet where like mini painting has to be very expensive, or at the very least that's the vibe that a lot of people seem to... There is, I guess, a bit of an upfront cost. Like you do kind of, like if you don't have any sprue cutters, or you don't have a brush, like you need a brush, right? Like there's not really... But I don't really like the elitism so much, where there is a little bit of that going on, where people just kind of look down at cheaper end stuff. Yeah. Yeah, overall, any hobby costs money, right? Like, that's kind of the thing. There's, like, every hobby costs some money. Unless your hobby is... Yeah, actually, I don't know. What if you really enjoy sleeping? Or maybe you can get a library cart or something, right? Library carts in some countries are free, or at least they're relatively cheap. Your hobby is to collect rocks? Well, then you still need shoes to go outside. And possibly, like, gas in your car to go places and find rocks. Like, stuff always costs a bit of money. If you really enjoy sleeping, you probably want to buy a new pillow every once in a while, dude. A proper pillow is not not cheap either. What if your hobby is to be naked? If your hobby is to be naked, you probably will reckon some fines. Those are not free either, dude. Yeah, point being is there's always some money to spend on things. I don't think you have to go overboard. Kind of fun as well, though, to try out new things. Can eating be a hobby? Yeah, eating is free. Eating is free. Try a proper mattress. They're hella expensive. Yes. We got a proper bed some years ago. I will not go back to cheap bed. We are not going back to cheap bed, cheap pillow. It's done. We're sold. We're old people now, okay? We will stay with proper mattress gang. Where's that sleeping is nice. Highly recommend it. Yeah, much like a mattress, I think it's worth spending money on a mattress and a pillow. I think it's worth spending money on a good brush for miniature painting too. That is the, yeah, that's the priority I would go for. Brush first, then mattress.
How many hours?
Thank you very much, Marco. So Bella has been sleeping a lot better lately. I, however, have been an absolute noob. Last night, though, Lauren took care of Bella, and I slept from like 8 p.m. straight to about 6 a.m. Now I've got a bit of a headache from, I think, sleeping too much, which is also kind of crazy. It's a bit of a meme, I will say, but Bella is getting better at sleeping now, which is kind of awesome. Yeah, we're no longer setting alarms in the middle of the night to feed her. We don't have to do it anymore because she has been making all kinds of gains. She's been gaining about 1 kilogram a week, or sorry, 1 kilogram a month. So at this rate, by the time her 10th birthday rolls around, she's gonna be the biggest 10-year-old in the world. Like, she's bulking hard. We can like sign her up for a freak show or something. Yeah, she's gonna be Giga Child. Wait, is today my partner anniversary? Is it? No way, Scorpion. Is it? Or are you just typing things in the chat? Are you baiting me? Oh, you're baiting me. Fuck. You just wrote happy partner anniversary when it's not my partner anniversary. Okay, it worked. You got me. You got me, dude. You happy now? It's all successful. If she said she wanted to be a YouTuber and a streamer, what would you do? Oh, dude, I freaking love YouTube. I really enjoy streaming. It's great. I will say, though, that you do need to make sure your mental health is in a reasonable place. Because I feel like that's kind of where a lot of YouTube creators and Twitch streamers fall off the wagon. These people on the internet, believe it or not, can be kind of mean sometimes. Not you guys. But you are kind of putting yourself on display, you know? Like yesterday, we had a random guy join the stream. This is a good example. Yesterday, a random guy came to my channel out of nowhere, and his first ever chat message was that I will be a terrible father because he's watched my content and it's very clear that I have no love to give to anybody. Like, that is the type of stuff that people swing at you on a daily basis. Now, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I'd already kind of forgotten about it until I had to come up with an example just now. But it is one of those things where, like, you can very easily let stuff go to your head. I also think it can be kind of a meme financially. Like, I think it's very tempting. Like, you see quite frequently for people that are really wanting to do content creation full-time, for them to, like, take the jump, right? To barely make ends meet. And then you're, like, 1 month away from your finances being an absolute disaster. And now you find yourself taking sponsorships with companies that you don't actually support. And suddenly you find yourself promoting gambling websites and all the rest of it, even though that's against your morals, right? Like, there's a lot of that going on too. But I really enjoy being a full-time creator. It's fun. Wait, today is actually my partner anniversary? It wasn't a bait? Really? Today is my partner anniversary on Twitch? How many years? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, sick, okay. What am I supposed to do with a partner anniversary? What's the point? Thank you, JD, by the way. Thank you also, Andy. Thank you for the 300 bits. You get paid on your partner anniversary? But how? How do you promote your What do we do? You guys are supposed to give me money now? Wait, how do I squeeze money out of my viewers? Quick, how do I monetize this Twitch? Twitch, come on. It's telling you you're due for a new partner? Oh, I'll let Low Wife know. It's been good. You know, me and Twitch have been together for longer than me and Low Wife. Get owned, nerd. I'll tell her. I'll tell her she got owned. GG, boys. Hey, thank you, Slow Joe. Wait a second. Holy crap. Slow Joe with 10 gifties. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you very much. Hell yeah. Quick 250 ads. Run so many ads that nobody can watch the content anymore. Do it. Do it. No, I highly recommend streaming, man. It's fun. But I do think, like, my point is, if you are thinking about getting started and you notice, oh god, mentally maybe you're not always in the best of places, I do think it can be kind of toxic. People can be kind of rude on the internet. Now, luckily, thankfully, I've never really had any mental issues. And that seems to be just luck of the draw. At least looking around me in my environment in IRL. Some people get it, some people don't. Unlucky. But I do think making content on the internet is absolutely wonderful. It's great. IRL RNG, man. Oh, this guy's a little different. Yeah. Look, this guy has one of his little feetsies up in the air, and he's got a little connecting bit at one of his front paws.
Happy partner
Yo!
anniversary.
Galfarino with the $50 tippy. Thank you, man. Happy partner anniversary. Let's go. Yo, partner anniversary every day of the week. Hell yeah. Thank you, Galfarino. Gefeliciteerd met je partnerjubileum. Nou, dankjewel, Zimi. See, that immediately makes it obvious to me how I'm supposed to pronounce your username. The I and the E right next to each other like that are an E in Dutch. What if your daughter gets older and she wanted to do YouTube and streaming? What would you say? Dude, I would definitely, yeah, I would definitely encourage her. Obviously, you don't want to start at too young an age. That's another one of those things, right? I think for example, on Twitch, the minimum age to make an account is 13. I think it's a horrible idea to be a Twitch streamer at the age of 13. Like that's, dude, just like there's limits to that sort of stuff. Maybe to have an account, sure. I don't know what the limits are for like to be a streamer yourself. I don't know. When I was young, I always tried out a lot of different things. I always wanted to try new stuff, and I always tried to, I don't know, figure out ways to monetize it, I guess, in ways that were maybe a little weird. And my parents were always very, like, they always motivated me for that sort of thing. Like, they were happy to let me try stuff. It's a little different, right? If your kid is like 17 or whatever. You can tell them no, but whatever. It is a little funky though, like, the internet is definitely a different place now than when I was a kid. Oh, look at its little hands together. Loco's hands are more delicate than the guy in Zoolander. These are the hands of somebody who does a lot of manual labor, okay? Look, I have calluses. Right over there, but nowhere else. Also, I used to play guitar. There may still be some at my fingertips. I think you've seen Slip. Yeah, the colored plastic is funky. The Terran units are all blue, and then the Zerg units are all purple. We're gonna prime these guys black. So, yeah, they won't look like this for long, but yeah. I think you should paint them though. Maybe you can get away with not painting them, but painting is a big part of the hobby, man. Honestly, I wonder what the ratio is for people that play tabletop war games regularly. What is the ratio of playing versus painting? You probably pay like you probably paint like 10 times as much as you actually play the game. I haven't played guitar in many years, no. You know one thing that my parents didn't really like me doing? They were always they always encouraged me to try different things. One thing that they didn't really like me doing all too much was play video games. Look at me now, Ma. What do you think? Sorry. Yeah, my parents weren't entirely sure how to deal with me wanting to just play video games all day. Ooh, look, there's a little tiny... You mad, Mom? Yo, Mom, how mad are you right now? Yo, low Mom, how mad are you, bro? How does this fit? I'm trying to squeeze the little sticks into the holes. Am I getting it backwards? Ah, I'm getting it backwards. Okay. You don't want to squeeze too hard when you try to squeeze them into the hole. Dude, look how cute it is like this, though. He's got his little hands together. Dude, if my cats were to lay like this, I would take so many photos. Little hands together. All right, sorry. Your dad got very upset when you bought your first computer? I mean, assuming you had access to that amount of money, I guess you were older, right? There was zero chance I was going to be able to buy a computer when I was a teenager without my parents knowing. This looks like some poor feller's dog. It does. I'm actually going to apply a little bit more glue over here. We can call this guy Lester. We need to figure out a way to make some creep, by the way. I did see some Instagram videos on people mixing different types of glue together. Which may be a bad idea, I don't know. Like, I don't know about the glue fumes, you know? But anyways, I would like to make some creep-like bases. That would be fun. Look at this guy, man. He's leaning way off. I should build the queen first to get creep. Hey. Wait, is there a queen included in this box? Oh, I think there is. There is. We can make Brenda, dude. Islan, are you still here by any chance? Do you have any suggestions on how I could make a creep-like base? I did see some Instagram videos, but maybe you have some opinion on this. You've painted a few minis in your life. There should be 2 queens? Really? Yeah, skip the zerglings, bro. Get rid of this. And that would also get rid of my creep threat problem, you know? Like, I want to get some creep on these bases somehow. If I just paint Brenda first... I think this is good, right? We have this one leaning forward, and then this one we've glued down a little bit further on the back. I think I need a little bit more glue around the outside, though. Around the outside. Around the outside. All right. I did get a little bit of glue on my fingers. Dude, these look like a gang. What you guys don't know is that I'm gonna make my zerglings kiss off stream. I can be like, hey, little zergling, and then you know. But that'll be for something off stream. That'll be an off stream activity. We can make Rainer and Kerrigan and then build them up and make them kiss. What a dream. Oh yeah, you guys are right. There is indeed a queen in the box. And then also a Omega Worm. Yeah, that'll be a Patreon-only activity. That'll be for the tier 3 Twitch subs. Where we play with our Kerrigans and Jimmies and, you know, we dress them up like princesses, that sort of thing. Okay, so that's 3 Zerglings done. You know what this is? That is the 4th Zergling. And look how clean. It's all on one sprue, so after this is built, we can frisbee this through the room. And we don't need the shit anymore. Crazy stuff, man. What a fascinating concept. Putting it all together and organized onto one single sprue that you can then build in order, and you just kind of all take the same steps on all of the little miniatures. You don't really have to think about it. Oh, okay, I dropped it on the floor. No, never mind, on my chair. On my chair. Zarya, very nice. Yeah. I have now become a Zergling expert. A Zergling expert, as they say. You know what I should maybe do? I was thinking about building Olderlings, and I think there's 8 or so. Wait, are there 8? I think there's 8. Yeah. Wait, there's 7? Am I dumb? No, there's 6. Wait, how many Zerglings are there in the box? I was thinking if there's 8, maybe we should build half of them. Let me see. 24! What the hell? Okay, there's 24 Zerglings. I think we'll do 4. We'll do 100 minerals worth of Zerglings and then paint them all. Yeah, we'll paint them all up. I think painting 24 of them in one go is kind of a lot. Maybe we can do some different color schemes as well, you know? I mean, I'm not going to be able to paint it all. Not today, that's for sure. But, make a little gang of 4 Zerglings, like a little squad of 4lings. Probably look at the rules of the game as well. Maybe they all come in 4s by default, or maybe in 2s. Yeah, I will have to think about how I paint these guys. We'll have to consider it. Because I also don't want to really be stuck painting the same miniature for the next... Like, if I spend 20 hours on every single one of the lings, we're never going to finish this. And it's going to maybe look awesome. But if I do the same thing as I did with my orcs, like the orcs that I painted, these guys, I think this dude over here was about 25 hours worth of painting. And I think he turned out really cool. And this guy was a little quicker, which I painted afterwards, which was like maybe 15 hours. But at this rate, I'm never gonna finish the box. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll show everything I use, Andy. I think that's probably the most logical thing to do, right? Okay. There we go. Oh. Oh. It's empty. We can now just like it's just we can do so many things. Sick. Free frisbee included in the box. I love that. You don't really need sandpaper, to be honest. Most people don't use sandpaper. I don't know. Sandpaper can be kind of useful, though. You prefer toilet paper? You have to rub really aggressively. Or really gentle with the sandpaper, depending on the specific use case, I suppose. Yeah, sanding sticks are supposed to be OP. I know that Tamiya, so the brand that also makes this glue, they have like these things called sanding sticks. And supposedly they are incredible. I just have a giant pack of sandpaper that I want to use up first. Which at this rate is going to take me about a decade, so maybe I'll get some sanding sticks at some point, because it's not like they're going to break the bank. But, I mean, sandpaper comes in handy anyways. Like, you use sandpaper around the house sometimes, maybe? Maybe you don't, I don't know. Like, sandpaper is kind of like WD-40, you know? You didn't know you needed it until you got a bottle? And now you get excited whenever one of your door hinges make a squeaky noise. Just me? Okay, sorry. Like, this is going to be a real big problem with the WD-40 company. You just buy one bottle. I'm pretty sure my dad still uses the same bottle that he bought in the 70s, man. Like, I don't think you ever run out. Maybe I can, like, have my, maybe Lauren can... She can... Oh, maybe we can put it in our will, you know? Maybe Bella can inherit my bottle of WD-40 and my collection of sandpaper. Really, you do run out of the stuff in Florida? Oh. I guess Florida has a very different climate than over here. Stuff doesn't really rust as quickly here. You have sandpaper on hand for when you need to do your nails? You drank too much milk as a kid and now regular clippers aren't strong enough? What in the world, Blue Harvest? Blue Harvest, are you a Protoss player by any chance? It sounds like a Protoss only issue. You're Terran? Damn. Must be the higher level of testosterone that's making your nails insane. I've been told anyways that Terran players have higher testosterone than Zergs and Terrans, or Zergs and Protoss. I've been told this by Terran players. This was one of the best Reddit threads I've ever seen on the StarCraft 2 subreddit, man. This guy did an analysis on all of the Protoss, Zerg, and Terran pro gamers, and he determined that most of the top tier Zergs and Protosses were skinny nerds, and that the Terrans were generally speaking a little bit more muscular. And therefore he determined that Terrans have more testosterone, which also explains their more aggressive and confrontational nature. And of course the Terrans agreed. It's science. What's going on, Maldifrost? There's a thunderstorm, so no park run for you. Oh. Dang. I went for a run this morning. It was nice. I'm really enjoying running, dude. This is the cringiest thing ever. What is next? First time in my life I'm enjoying cardio. Yay. Thank you, Andy. Oh, I'm already looking forward to doing a half marathon at some point down the line. Absolutely, man. I signed up for a 10K thinking this was going to be impossible, but it's already very manageable. Like, I think I could go for a 10K right about right now. But we're building it up slowly, you know? One thing I have noticed on the internet, the running internet that is that everybody and their dog gets injured for doing too much too fast. So I'm trying to be smart. We should do a running stream. I should sign up for the Berlin half marathon? I don't know, man. I think if we sign up for a big boy like that, you gotta do the full. Like, you're gonna go all the way to Berlin to run the half? You're gonna go to Tokyo or London or whatever and do the half? It's probably really fun. Maybe actually the half is better, I don't know. Maybe after you've run like 4 marathons, you're like, okay, actually the half is more fun. Okay. The last of our little batch of links. You can run 100 miles easy, but you would still prefer signing up for a half marathon rather than a full? Why is that? Why would you want to do a half? If you can easily do 100. 100 miles, by the way, that's insane. Yay. No, I'm liking it so far. It's fun. Although, I do feel the urge to go and do more than I probably should be doing. So we're trying to calm down a little bit. But it's also because the weather is nicer now. I struggled a little bit more in the winter. And then obviously Bella arrived and I had to get an ear surgery. But now the weather is nice again. And it makes the whole thing kind of enjoyable. The only problem with this is that you do have to go outside and get dangerously close to touching grass. Which I will say is not something I would ever wish on my worst enemy. Is it really a marathon if you don't drop dead afterwards, like the original Greek runner? I don't really want to run dead. No. No, I think we should... Do you still run the original marathon? Like if you go to Greece? Do people still do this? I guess you can, right? Why not? Never heard of anybody doing this, though. Okay. Oh, snap. I forgot attaching the bottom jaw. I got a little excited with the leg. Google says that the Athens Authentic Marathon is still held each November in Greece. Ah, sick. All right. Yo, Ryan. Thank you, man. Happy partner anniversary. Yo, thank you, Ryan. Thank you for the 5 gift subs. You guys know it's my partner anniversary today? Because I didn't. Until about a half hour ago. Do you think it's like accurate on the minute? Where like Twitch actually has in the system the moment that I signed the document? Which just so happened to be like 1 p.m. on a... And they just keep this... I don't know how to determine it. Thank you, man. Yep, we can still put the face together. There we go. Look at his cute little mouth. This one has its mouth closed though. He's not a tryhard like the others. Yeah, I think the riskiest part about building the zerglings is it's snapping off one of its many legs. Like this little section over here is pretty flimsy. You could very easily break that. Not when you've put it together or glued it all down, but before you do so. I wish you could stream in multiple Twitch categories at the same time. Like, I'm currently in the StarCraft 2 category, but I probably should be in the mini painting category. But also I know that if I go to the mini painting category, there's not going to be nearly as many people watching. And also, this is StarCraft. So, what do? You stay in the StarCraft category. That's what you do. But am I lying to the people? Am I a viewer thief? Decisions. You're calling the Twitch police? I don't think the Twitch police is gonna care very much, but... They're like, oh no, he's got more viewers. Oh no. That means we make more money. Ah, fuck, no. Jeff Bezos is gonna be very offended. You have Jeff Bezos on speed dial, by the way? Sick. Okay. Yeah, we're still technically correct. Technically correct is one of my favorite things. Gotta get the little zergling base. Bam, 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 bam. Beautiful. Wait, why is this one... What? Ah! This one's also off-center, but the first one was in the middle. Huh? Guess it doesn't matter, but... the reason, by the way, that these are here, in case you're unfamiliar, you can glue down a little tiny magnet over here in that circle. And then if you want to like carry your miniature somewhere, you have these boxes, like these plastic boxes that have like a metal bottom. So you can just kind of stick them down, bam, and make sure they don't go anywhere while you're moving them around, which is really sweet. Like having a little indentation in the bottom of the base to, yeah, glue down a magnet is actually kind of awesome. Every mini should have that, for sure. Not that I've ever gone anywhere. Not that I've ever left the house. Still, you know? The idea still counts. Leaving the house is overrated, though, I will say. This one looks wide. Nah, it's got a little bit of a curve to it, so it's actually fine. We have to think about basing, though. Like, what are we gonna do to fill up the dead space? How do we make creep? I think we'll do a little bit of market research here in a moment. Before we prime it, we should most definitely have that sorted out. Okay. You could also just put dirt down. Just have him stand on dirt. It wouldn't be lore inaccurate. You did a creep base with PVA glue and super glue? Yeah, that's what I've seen on, I've never used that before. I've never done that before, but I did see it on Instagram, I think. Did it turn out good? I do want it to turn out good. You liked it? You'll put it in Discord? Yo, if you could, that'd be awesome. Okay. This guy is very nearly with his paw on the floor. Very close. But just barely
My mom
not.
wanted to know if your mom says it's okay for me to come over and play zerglings together.
I feel like he's a little bit higher off the ground in the official artwork, but I'm looking at the little image over here. Did I do something wrong? I mean, it looks fine. Oh. What I'm doing wrong is that I looked at E when I should be looking at D. That's what I'm doing wrong. I was looking at the wrong Zergling. Rookie mistake. Yo, Rushy! Sorry. I don't have my headphones on. I'm sorry, Rushy. Did I talk all over you? I am the rudest person on the internet. I need you to know this, okay? Ah, fuck! Rushy, what did you do? I blame Rushy for that one. Fudge. What did I say? Did I say a bad word? Mr. Butler, did I... Hold up. I need to glue this down. Hold up. Blaming Rushy? Your government name. My mom wanted to know if your mom says it's okay for me to come over and play Zerglings together. Dude, remember when we were kids? We would just show up at people's houses. Like I would not even discuss this. I would just show up. I would just be there. I'd be like, hey, could you know, can you come out and play? Like that was the build. You just go over and that's the build. There was no asking in advance, man. All right, guys, we have 4 Zerglings built. I don't know if I can hold them all. I can hold them all in 2 hands. Wait a second. Damn. 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 They look awesome, man. They look really cool. We have built 100 minerals worth of Zerglings. Hell yeah. Now I gotta figure out how to build creep. How does one make creep? I've made up my mind. Play the StarCraft music again. I was originally thinking about doing full Zergy bases, but I think it's gonna be too much purpley stuff. I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of texture paste, rather, and then we'll just paint it like dirt. I think that'll probably look a little bit better. I have a few different options. I have Muddy Ground by AK. I also have some texture paste here from Games Workshop. Now I'm gonna apply this before painting it, so I'm mostly just interested in the texture, I guess. We have some Sterling Mud, a Grelin Earth. This kind of like scatters a lot, and then we have Armageddon Dust. Hold up. Texture paste, Games Workshop examples. Can we look at like the different versions? I found a blog post from the year 2000 or something. I don't know. This is no. We need to dry it up. Yeah, there we go. I think I'm just gonna go regular dirt. Just regular good old dirt. I don't think we wanted to go... Yeah, I don't think we wanted to crack. Armageddon Dust would also work, though. Armageddon Dust does look pretty nice. The thing is, I have a giant tub. I have a giant tub of AK's Muddy Ground, which I think is gonna last me about a lifetime. Yeah, maybe not quite. But I think we're just gonna go with that. And I'll just do a pretty dirt-like base. I should be able to just apply that all over. And just add a little bit of texture to it. Yeah, I think that'll look nice. It's what I used on the other, like a bunch of other minis too. It's pretty easy. And we can definitely make it look, like we can make the whole Zerg army look similar, you know? Not that that is the biggest of deals, but... Okay, now this is gonna be a bit messy. I think it's probably a good idea for me to move some of these things away. There we go. Yeah, move this out of the frame as well. Because we have to do a little bit of... we have to apply a little bit of goop. So... This kind of stuff, it's basically paint mixed with like sand and then glue. And the idea is that you basically just scoop this onto a base and it will dry up. In this particular instance, looking like dirt. Now, I don't really care about the color of this stuff because I'm gonna prime it all together anyways. But I've noticed in the past if I apply this after I have painted the mini, so this is kind of like the intended thing, okay? Like you prime this, then you like paint the whole thing up and then you apply this on top of it. The problem is that this stuff is very sticky and I've had it like, I don't know, I've had it goop up details in the past and I didn't really like it that way. So lately I've just been applying it before I prime, meaning you have to paint all over it again. But that's not the big of a deal. The only problem is that this stuff can be kind of a mess to work with. I should probably have a little bit of water. Yep, I've got some water. There we go. And I'll get some, Q-tips and whatnot too. Very useful, by the way, Q-tips. With mini painting. Really, basically what you do, guys, if you are big into miniature painting and you have a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, is you rate all of her shit. Maybe ask first, you could do that too. But I will say that she will likely have a load of really useful things for mini painting. Don't use her nice brushes though. If she has like really nice makeup brushes or whatever, you don't want to waste those. No, she's not gonna appreciate that. She won't like it. Don't do that. Really nice makeup brushes are expensive. All right, so I have a little scooper tool. I'm okay with this kind of overlapping a little bit with the edge of the creep, because I want this to kind of blend together. But I'm gonna go for a very thin layer. Can we have an example of nice ones? Actually, that seems like a nice present. Yo. For all the 3 girls that like watching my content, would this be a good gift? Buy high quality makeup brushes? I'm pretty sure Lauren just uses the same ones that she's had for donkeys. Seems like a killer gift. Like, I would love it if she bought me brushes, you know? For miniature painting, that is. She doesn't actually apply a lot of makeup with brushes now that I think about it. Never mind. It's actually nice how these tops of the minis, like the tops of the bases, are not 100% smooth. It helps apply this gunk a little bit easier. I got her a nice hairbrush, like, for Christmas last year. She loves that thing. I thought I was so smart when I came up with the idea of buying, like, a nice hairbrush. Highly recommend, gamers. Yeah, we got the starter box. Now this stuff is going to take a while to dry. Extra paste always takes a while to dry. There's a little bit of a rock over here. So I want it to be a little bit on top of the rock too, so it blends it together. As we go around the outside. Around the outside. Around the outside. You want this, but you just had a kid? Kids don't take any time, dude. What are you talking about? Andy's gonna go broke. Sorry, Andy. I'm sorry for showing you all the cool goodies you can do for mini painting. Sorry, man. Okay. Okay. Now we want to make sure that we wipe the rim. You want a nice clean rim, okay? Don't be one of those fucking mini painting maniacs that has a dirty rim. Okay? Take a little bit of water and wipe your rim clean. Wipe the rim. Yes. Wipe it. You want a nice clean rim on your miniature. The amount of minis I see on the internet where people have dirty rims. Like, if you're... Okay, look, in my opinion, if you're going to do a rim job, do it well. Okay? Don't half-arse your rim jobs. Okay. Let me just have a little look-see around. And I think we can let this one dry. This one's good. Put it away, put it away, put it away. Don't touch it. This one can live over here. Don't touch it. We'll have a full look around as well before I prime it, which I think I'm gonna have to do off stream, because this takes a few hours to dry fully. Also gives us a bit of time to have the glue art out. Art out? There you get what I mean. I don't know how long that takes fully. You can prime it early though, like you don't have to wait until it's fully dry, but generally speaking, I just wait overnight. What's going on, Barnacle Bob? The mini quality is excellent, man. Yeah, this is top tier plastic. I'm a impressed nerd. Like, it does cost a bit of money. Unless you're a content creator on the internet, I guess. But you do get some high quality plastic in return. Obviously, I've only done the zerglings so far, but yeah, it looks good. Yeah, sometimes I feel a little bit bad for having early access to some things because I make content on the internet. Because I remember back when I had nobody watching my content, I would get a little jealous of people that had early access to stuff. I was like, those fucking content creators. Ah. But then people started offering me free stuff sometimes, and I was like, ooh, no, don't mind if I do. Double standards. Hours going straight to my head. This bucket is called AK Terrain's Muddy Ground, which is basically just a texture paste. But way cheaper than the Games Workshop stuff. And it works fine. I think like a full tub like this is maybe 10 bucks. Lasts for ages. Like literally years. Unless you paint this ton, I guess, but way cheaper than the... Anyway, none of this is necessary, right? Like you could just get like PVA glue and some regular modeling sand and just use that to create like your own texture. Like I'm gonna paint over this anyways. So it doesn't really, it's just one of those $10 improvements that I was trying to highlight earlier. It's just one of those things that you really unnecessary, but it's kind of nice. Sometimes you got to do things that are necessary, and sometimes, you know. And again, is anything necessary? Like, is it necessary for me to drink my own urine? No, but it's sterile and I like the taste. All right, wipe the rim, wipe the rim. Wipe the rim. It's a movie quote. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right. This one's also done. That's from something I can't remember. It's the movie Dodgeball. Terrible movie. I love it. All right. All right. That's miniature number 2 done. I don't think they shot that in the Philippines, Blue Hair now. Wipe the rim. God, let's sandal my rim. Wipe it off, man. Don't be a fucking caveman miniature builder. Not wiping the rim is psychopathic behavior, I will say. Whoa, hey buddy, calm down. Okay, good. This one's gonna be a little dangerous, because he's got his little claw out. Yeah, you can choose to build these as swarmlings, as zerglings, or as raptorlings. I have gone for the vanilla zergling. But if you're cooler than me, you can go raptorling, for example. The odds of you being cooler than me are pretty big. Let's be real. Yeah, the raptorlings come with transparent wings. Which means that you, I think the build order anyways, like I've never worked with transparent plastic like that before, but obviously if you prime it, it is gonna be gooped up and it's not gonna be transparent anymore, right? So I think the build order, if you wanna use the raptorlings, is to build the mini like this, and then attach the transparent wings after you've painted it. Which is doable, I'm sure. But it does add like an extra layer of danger to the project. Because it means that you have to glue things down after you finish your paint job. Or maybe you glue them on after you've primed the rest of the mini? Dude, I have a little bit of sand on my rim over here. Okay. Mini number 3. Done. Let me flatten this out just a smidge. Messy job, man. I think this is good. Okay. And then the last one. What's going on, Sparticulus? Hello. Oh wait, you were already here. Sorry, my bad. Araskun is the one that woke up. Thank you, Rex. It is indeed my partner anniversary, dude. Me and Twitch have been partners. I didn't know it was my partner anniversary until Jeff Bezos called me just now and he congratulated me. Okay. Yeah, I have now been partnered on Twitch for probably about 12 years. 12 years. Jeez. Crazy, eh? I think it's actually 12 years. Man. That's not good. Kind of have to goop up this little gap. And I have to go and clean his foot off, because I got a little bit of it on his foot. This is where a Q-tip would be very handy, but I can't find any! Now, I know where they are downstairs, but that would require getting up. Seems like a lot of work. So I'll try and, like, MacGyver it. I need to go get a Q-tip. I'm gonna go rate Laurent's makeup supplies. Oh wait, I have a microphone with me. You guys can come. Oh God. All right. Makeup supplies rated. Didn't even see her. Use your finger like a man, Loco? Nope. No, we gotta make sure that the foot is, I don't know, I got a little bit of the texture paste stuck on its leg. Maybe you can see that. Good. It's okay if it gets a little bit of dirt on there, it's not the end of the world, but I'd rather keep it clean. Texture paste? It's to create an interesting texture on the base. So otherwise you just kind of have this like plain plastic. You see like the right side over here, and then on the other side we get like a little bit of like a dirt. That looks like they're standing on dirt. I was thinking about making creepy bases. Then I have a little look at the official box art, and I realized that they have some creep that they're standing on. But most of it is just dirt, and I think it looks nicer. Like making the whole base purple is probably gonna just be distracting. So we'll add a little bit of like, maybe I'll even add some grass. Obviously, you could do a theme, right? Where like, say you imagine all your Zerg are on char, so you get like a reddish ground instead. But I've decided to go for the vanilla zergling. So I think I'm gonna go for the vanilla colors and then also the vanilla base. We're gonna go for the mass appeal approach, I guess. Nah, I like it. I'm pretty vanilla. I think it looks nice. It's gonna look cool. I want my zerglings just like me, you know? Boring. Easy to understand. I always kind of default to grassy bases. I think it looks decent. For most everything. To be fair, I don't really like attention going to the bases too much, unless it's like the main focal point, I guess. Can look really nice. But I am not a basing expert. I kind of like the plainer look. Okay. A little bit of dirt going onto the rock is fine. I think this is number 4 done. All we got to go ahead and do is wipe the rim. How do you guys usually like to wipe the rim on your miniature? This is how it's... This is what it's like to stream, right? You gotta ask questions of your audience. When you wipe the rim of your miniature, what do you... I like to use a little piece of paper. You use your finger? Fuck. You're an animal. All right. This is zergling number 4. Dude, Lester would be so proud of me.